Hey everybody, we're a little bit late today. Had some errands to run and get out there before the storms came this afternoon. And so I wanted to hop on real quick and do another little booklet that we can put into our lap book. So if you remember yesterday, we were talking about the ear. I thought it might be fun to do just some little blips of senses. The senses of the body, and so we did the ear and hearing, and I did a fun demonstration with a hard-boiled egg and a raw egg, and how we have semicircular canals in our ear to help us to orient ourselves, and we talked about momentum and inertia, and so we made a fun little flip book that I put on the side extension of my lap book. Remember how we put some extensions in yesterday, and then we had the little flip book. So we're going to do another one today, a different shape. And this one's going to be about taste. And taste is kind of an interesting one because a lot of people know we have different sensors or different taste buds on our tongue that identify various tastes: sweet, salty, bitter, sour, and more recently savory or umami, which is kind of that savory flavoring. And so we have those, and you may have seen a tongue map before. You can print these out for your kids and have them label the sections of the tongue that have various sensory abilities to identify those specific flavors. However, this is not a completely accurate picture. The main reason is that the more scientists are learning about the taste buds, the more they're seeing that there are hundreds of nerve fibers in each taste bud, actually hundreds, maybe 50 to 100, and each one has unique sensory abilities. Some are more likely to taste sweet than they are salty, and so they're more connected or more gathered at specific zones within your tongue, but there's a lot of overlap. In fact, there are other nerves in your tongue that identify things that help add a combination of flavors. For example, heat. Now, you know, if you eat something too hot, it's going to burn your tongue, so you're not going to want to do that. But when you have spicy foods, that spiciness that you sense is actually pain sensors in your tongue identifying pain. But a little bit of pain sometimes is good. So that's why some people like spicy foods. They like that little kick, that little bit of pain that comes with the food that they're eating, and that's the spice. And so something that you can do with your kids is you can have them taste various flavors of things and identify whether it tastes salty or sweet or savory, or that, remember that's umami, which is U-M-A-M-I. And then when you're done doing that kind of activity with them, you want to put what they learned in a little booklet. And so I'm going to use red today, and we're going to make a different one. And to start with this one, I want to make a square out of my paper. And so I'm going to fold it so that I get kind of a triangle like this. And then I'm going to cut along the excess. This should give me a square, although this was a piece of scrap paper, so I'm not sure how square it's going to be, but we'll take a look. All right, there we go. That's pretty much a square. And then there we go. Okay, and so we're going to fold it the other direction, corner to corner, so we get kind of an X of our folds, like this, okay? And then I'm going to actually readjust mine because mine's not a completely perfect square, and I want it as square as I can get it because we're going to do something with this. Again, the fun thing about this is your kids get to make these, and they're fun to do. They kind of behave like a craft activity, but at the same time, they remember things better because they're doing it with their hands, and they're touching it, and they're exploring it. And that builds education, that builds memory. And so we're gonna take each of the points, each of the corners, and fold them to the center. So I have one here. Make sure you guys can see me here. 2, and this one's 3. And this one is 4. Okay, and look what we've got. We've got this fun little open and close booklet. And so what we can do is, I think I'm going to glue my mouth on the top and cut along the lines so that it will open up. And that'll let them know this is the taste one. But then when they open each flap, there might be salty and some foods that are salty, and you could do sweet, and you could do bitter, and you can do sour. You can do all the different ones, and maybe in the middle you can do the umami and pain sensors with a spicy Tabasco picture. So let me go ahead and glue those on. I'm going to start by closing one flap. Actually, let me glue one flap here. Stick it on this way. So you can see how it's just glued onto this flap like this. And then I'm going to cut just alongside one side to the point and glue this next flap. There's a lot of ways you could do this, but I'm going to try doing it this way here. Fold it down, connect them together, cut. So let's cut all the way across now. Cut these open like that. Okay, now we're going to glue the top piece on. You guys have fun with this. This really does make it enjoyable for your kids, and it's a great way to document the learning that's happening. Again, we've talked a little bit about how it can be a challenge to keep a portfolio or a record of what you're doing with your kids as you're doing school. And this is something you can do as you're learning, and it builds memory, it builds education. It's a fun way to do it. It's a visual memory of what they've learned. And when you're all done, you have something really great to show what was learned. So here we go now. We have my tongue labels. You can get blank ones, or you can block these off and have the kids label them. Again, you can open them up and do a little bit of information on underneath each flap of the various types of senses on the tongue. And then we can put it in our lap book. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right here over the pink one that we did the other day. And I'm going to glue it in. Again, you can use glue sticks. Those work fine. They're more instant. The problem with glue sticks is long term, they don't tend to hold as well. So maybe have your kids do the glue sticks if you want, and then maybe you can go back in later and add regular glue. Again, you can use staples if you wanted to. I tried using staples yesterday and I ran out of staples, which is why I'm using glue right now. So there we go. We have it in our lap book. So it's starting to fill out a little bit more. So tomorrow we'll come back and we'll do another one. I'm going to try to get back again at 3 o'clock, same time. And so you can join me. If you've missed any of these, I'm recording them and putting them up on my YouTube channel, Sherry Seligson. You're welcome to pop over there. If you subscribe, you'll get a notification every time I put something new. There's a bunch of other great videos on that site, all of them educational. There's another series I did during the month of March that takes you through lots of things to do using what you have when we couldn't get out of our homes back then. And so I hope you enjoy it. Thanks again for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.